So this month, my goal is to try to optimize my health by taking every single health test imaginable. So firstly, I want to explain why that was something that I was excited about and why you might be interested in this. I think that a lot of time when it comes to medicine and health and treatment, we're often treating problems and symptoms and you're already starting to feel sick or you've already got something, but not a lot of time is taken to actually be preemptive with a lot of diseases and issues that you might be having. And a lot of us might be feeling like a little bit sluggish or tired or having different intolerances that are just slight things that we just learn to deal with. But by really understanding what's going on in the body, we can actually really optimize every element and get more out of our day, which means more energy into your projects. It means more optimization from the nutrition you're putting into your body. It means less likely that you're going to get diseases and things like that. So that's why I was really excited to try to just do everything this month. That's not typically how people might approach this, but I just wanted to try everything and then talk about all the different tests.
Do you want to just do it how I normally do it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So the month started with me seeing a naturopath, Christine Ottobre, who's excellent at what she does. We did an initial consult where she learned about my nutrition, my supplementation, my intolerances, and what was going on in my body.
Do you have any medical history?
No, nothing notable. I mean, I had a flesh-eating bacteria last year.
A flesh-eating bacteria?
Yeah.
What was that?
And now typically the way that she would operate is she would do a blood test, see what's going on once the results come back, and then administer 1 or 2 different tests based on those results. But for this challenge, I said, hey, I want to do everything. Everything that you might do for someone, I want to do everything so that we can get a ton of data and really understand and analyze what's going on in my body. We signed up to a bunch of different tests and there's quite a process and you actually do need someone that's licensed to actually administer these tests.
I just got a blood test today. I'm trying to show you the spot on my arm, it's tiny. I got tested for electrolytes, blood count, lipid panel, iron panel, fasting blood glucose, CRP, ESR, ANA, free testosterone, DHEA, vitamin D, TSH, FT3 and FT4. Don't know what most of that stuff is, but that's cool. And now I just got all of this stuff in the mail. This is kind of intense because there's a lot of stuff to get through. So this one is a urine collection. This is a blood. This one is a stool collection. This is saliva. A lot of stuff. I suspected that this was gonna be a lot easier than it was. I thought I'd just, I don't know, go somewhere, get it all done. Didn't realize I'd have to like alter my diet and everything.
There was a whole process for all of these different specimens that I needed to get. Some of them I had to quit all my supplements, some of them I had to stop all caffeine, some of them I couldn't eat beforehand and I was meant to fast from water and all different things.
This is too much stuff. It's slightly overwhelming how much stuff there is. All right, I got a lot of stuff to figure out. I'm just about to give a saliva specimen. So first you need to rinse your mouth with water. And now I need to like spit in this little cup. You need 5 mils. That's like heaps of saliva. Fuck no. Pretty gross. But here's 5 mils of my saliva. Now I need to label this, add it to the bag, and do that 3 more times. It took me 2 minutes just to get enough saliva. That's crazy. So I just got my blood back. So this is my blood in a bag. I had to do like 4 days of no supplements, no eating right beforehand, get a clean sample of blood. And then I needed to leave it to, some of it needed to run through a centrifuge, which means they separate the blood and plasma or something like that. Now I picked it up, it's been spun, it's all ready to be sent off. So that is my organic acid test done. Still a few more things to get sample wise, and then I can send it all off and get some results. I am currently walking to the post office with my samples. There's not a lot of good reasons to be walking in the suburbs, for a human to be walking in the suburbs with a bag of his blood, urine, and other fun things. But here I am. I never thought this YouTube journey would take me here. Anyway, time to send this off and get rid of it so I don't feel like a lunatic. All my results came back and there were a ton of different takeaways and I got massive reports.
I think the DNA was like 20, 30, 40 pages. So there's a lot of different data. It was really hard for someone like me to go through, but I want to give you my 4 biggest takeaways. So my number 1 biggest takeaway was actually from the stool test, which is all about gut health. And it's been shown in science and it's been proven more and more that gut health is a lot more than just keeping your gut functioning well. Your gut is correlated to different diseases. It's correlated to heart health, brain health, immune system, mood, sleep, digestion. Really important to get that really firing properly.
We always start with healing the gut first so that you can, one, get the most out of your food, because we always want to treat first with nutrition. And then making sure the supplements that you're getting are the herbs that you're going to be digesting them and it's going to be actually put to use.
Is this the supplements as well to treat?
Yeah, so calming down inflammation. If you're not on a good diet, then we start with your diet, which your diet's pretty good. It would be probably supplements and then giving you the right probiotics to increase your beneficial bacteria.
Cool.
And when you calm down the inflammation, then your gut starts healing itself anyway.
Cool.
The good news was I didn't have any parasites. The bacteria levels were all pretty good. There were a few bacteria levels that were out of balance. And so by getting those in a perfect alignment, it might mean that I will have less intolerance to different foods, my stomach will feel better, and I'll be able to get more nutrition from my food, and that's so important. The second takeaway was I had a bunch of different vitamins and antioxidants that weren't in the perfect range. So things like vitamin C, CoQ10, glutathione, vitamin B, vitamin D, there's all different types of things where, although they're in an okay range, they're not in the optimal range. And by getting them in the optimal range, it's gonna help you prevent different diseases, and it's also just going to give you more energy, all different types of benefits.
From these, would you say that it's like I haven't been eating enough different types of vegetables to get the micronutrients? Or
yeah, so it actually says plant-based antioxidants, so you're almost in the red.
Right, because I am eating quite a basic diet of, a lot of rice, quinoa, broccoli and pea protein. Do you think that I should be having like more like cabbage and or other random things?
Cabbage, beans, so things that are very high in polyphenols. I'd probably also be incorporating some fruit, such as cherries, grapes, things that are high in polyphenols and resveratrol as well.
Okay.
All the research is showing now that the more diversity that we have in our diet, the better our gut microbiome is too. Yeah.
And I learned all that information from my Nutra-Eval test, which is an intercellular blood test. It's like a blood test, but it really goes deep. And instead of just saying vitamin D is out of balance, it gives you very specific information to take on board. The next big takeaway was from my saliva test, when I tested cortisol and hormones, and I was getting a spike of cortisol in the middle of the day. And that's because even though I stopped caffeine for the test, my body was used to having that caffeine. And so the cortisol was at an elevated level. A lot of people can relate to this. If your body starts to rely on caffeine, then you're going to get spikes of energy and dips. And so it can be important to note that. It's also interesting to see that my body knows when I usually have it, and my body's energy is influenced based on those time patterns. The last takeaway, which I thought was really interesting, was my DNA test. And just from one swab, you get a ton of data back. And interestingly, it showed that I didn't process a few vitamins perfectly, like B12 and vitamin D. But most interestingly, I found was it showed that I had an addictive gene. And so there's one type of gene that studies have shown people with this gene type find it harder to quit substances, and they just have a more addictive personality. And that's something that I've actually always known about myself. Like back in the day when we all are playing a video game, I get super obsessed, or I get into basketball and I get super obsessed. It's funny to see that genetically I actually have that disposition, because I know that I have quite an obsessive personality. While some people can do moderation and have a little bit of chocolate, I like to be quite strict because I know that if I have a little bit, I end up having a lot. So overall, I was given a supplementation plan for the next 8 to 12 weeks that's going to get my gut right, and then it's going to get all my vitamins and nutrition in the perfect spot. For me, I was actually really excited by the results that I got, because it showed that I can further improve my health and get more out of my nutrition, get more out of my energy levels, and just feel better overall. If you're like me, you want to be preventative, if you want to be on top of your health, and you really just want to be forward thinking so you don't have to react to an issue down the line, then I think that this could be something that's really valuable for you. And now you don't need to do every single test like I did. You can just get a blood test and then see what looks off, and then get specific tests around that blood test. I think finding a really great naturopath like Christine, the one that I had, is going to really help you in that journey. Next video, I'm actually doing a vegan body transformation. So if you're interested in seeing how I go with that, check that out. And as always, thanks for watching.